Most parents don't realize that they're part of a reality show, and it's called parenting. That was supposed to be a joke, but I think I'm probably the only one laughing at this point. It's all about being able to connect with your child, and it's one of the most challenging things for parents of 2022 to do. We have with us Sandra Oluwadare, a parenting coach and founder of Winning in Parenting. She's here to join us, and let's try and solve this conundrum of connecting with our kids. It feels like a myth. Do you really ever connect with your child, or do you just guide them along their way?
No matter what happens right now, we know that so many things are going on in the society. It looks like the hustling, is so much, and it's like there's really no time to connect. But the truth is, connection is actually happening in lots of homes. If we can only be mindful, there's something called mindfulness in parenting. If we can be mindful, we would realize that there are so many opportunities, that just slip by, that we can actually, engage in to build that connection with our children. So yes, we can actually connect a great deal with our children.
So the most common excuse or pastime is to say, we are busy. There's no time.
Yeah.
When do you find time to connect? And what exactly are we connecting on? Why is it important?
Okay, so there are so many opportunities in our daily activities. It's when you begin to think that you need to do something extra. You just wake up one morning and you realize that a lot of time has gone by and you've not really taken advantage of those opportunities. So in the little things we do on a daily basis, normal activities, you wake your children up in the morning, that's a place to connect. You serving them breakfast is a good place to connect. You don't need to go to the park at that time. You have an opportunity before you. So you wake them up, you give them tickles, you give them hugs and all of that. That is connection. You're serving their food and all of that. You're at the table. You just have some kind of small talk before. So the opportunities are endless. But once you just sit into yourself and say, okay, you know what? I'm going to look in and see how I can actually, use these opportunities.
So I've read a few articles where they say, dinner time or breakfast time is a good time to connect. But a lot of parents see that time to yell. Come here and sit down. Come on, eat your food.
Yeah.
Why are you playing with your food? There's just a lot of yelling going on. As opposed to connecting with the child. But some children feel like that yelling part is when their parents are actually connecting with them. That's when they get the attention, meaning that they act out in order to get their parents to give them that attention. What advice would you give parents who are going through that particular scenario?
Okay, so I would say that once you decide to be a parent, you know that you're in for some kind of hands-on work. And yelling actually shuts down the brain of your child, the learning center of the brain. So no true learning occurs. So let's say a child is not eating or is not doing what you want him to do. That gets you angry and frustrated. But the truth is, yelling can never change behavior. So you need to get to the point where you realize that I need to do something strategic to get across to my child. And so yelling at your children at the dinner table or when they're having breakfast is a no-no. What you can do is just be calm, because anger, happens when you are not happy with what is going on, when you want your child to do something and the child is not doing it. So I would advise that you calm yourself. Most times yelling is not even about the child, it's about us parents. We want to vent our frustration. So you just have to be emotionally intelligent as a parent. If the child is not eating, the child is not doing what you want to do, you just have to calm down, take deep breaths. Those options are very funny, but those are things that actually work. You take deep breaths, you just think about something good, because when you yell, your child sees you as an enemy. Your child sees one big bully, trying to yell at me. And there's a part of the brain, that activates the mirror neurons. That's the part that makes the child replicate your behavior. So once you begin to yell, the child is going to yell back at you one day. So it's very important that if you know you want to connect with your child, it's work.
Yeah.
Yeah, so every opportunity you have, just calm down and be emotionally intelligent.
I want to touch on connecting over activities. You mentioned that earlier on. For instance, I know there are some activities that my kids are interested in, but I might not be so interested in, but I know that it engages them. Okay. Then there's some things I like to do that I would like to hope my kids would be interested in. Yes. But it doesn't always balance out. For instance, I like to read. I like the classics. I like books. There are loads of books around. And one of my kids is leaning towards it, but the other one could not care less. Like, she looks at me like I'm speaking Greek when I start talking about books. Okay. But I really want to connect with her over countries, characters, whatever. And that's easier for me. So how do I begin to find that balance with activities and connecting with the kids?
Okay. So that's why it's important that you know each child. So let's say you have 3 children. It's advisable to have one-on-one time with each of them, not all of them, so that you discover what they like. Now, when you know that this child doesn't like reading, that's the way the child is. You can only encourage the child, but if she's not coming along, you just have to look for that thing she likes and connect. Connection is just about coming on common grounds. So you try to bring your child over to your team, or you go over to the child's team, so long as it's legit. You know, the child loves soccer, the child loves to sing, or, you know, just find that common. If she's not reading, there's something she likes to do, but you will never realize it if you don't have personal one-on-one time with her. Okay. Yeah, so that's it.
That disconnect that has obviously happened in many, many homes has forced parents to begin yelling, venting frustration on their children. Now, there must be some kind of long-term effects that this leads to. Can we touch on those?
Oh, my God. If parents knew the damage yelling caused, they would do less of it or not yell at all. Yelling makes your child feel devalued. I mean, it's very demeaning. If you want to pass information across, there are ways to do it. Nobody wants to be yelled at. You don't want to be yelled at by your boss or by your partner. You know, so, or if your friend visits you in your home and does something, breaks one of your favorite dishes or something, you're not going to start yelling at that person. You know, but why do we now yell at our children? It's because of the anger we feel, the frustration. You know, we need to get to the point where we're able to contain all of these emotions. You know, so your yelling is going to, like I mentioned earlier, it's going to shut down the learning center of the child's brain. The child is like, no learning can occur. So you're saying, leave that place. You've lost the child at that point. And another thing, apart from feeling devalued, is that the child begins to get anxious unnecessarily. The child, it affects their academics. They see that they are unworthy, they are no good, they can't do anything right, because any step they take, they get somebody yelling at them and all of that. And then they, in turn, become yellers. A yeller will beget another yeller. So you discover one day that you want to speak to your child. You've been yelling at that child for 2 years, and the child yells back at you right in your face. Or the child, some parents even get into situations where their children even want to hit them, you know, because that is what they've modeled to the children. So the damage is, you can't quantify it. It really, and it affects the children's relationships later in life as well. So it's really, really bad.
I have to say thank you so much for connecting with us on this, and there are probably a few parents who have 1 or 2 questions about how to work on this as well. Please make sure you check us out on social media. Use @TVC Connect with the hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TVC and ask the questions you have. Let's see how we can respond to them. It's a big issue. It's not something you can solve that quickly, but hopefully we'll get to the bottom of this together. I know that my voice level has reduced these days because I was told earlier, you know. But one reason why I might feel like yelling now is because I think Mazino is going to eat that chicken before I do.